Hey, what's going on? I'm BoneSickle, and you happen to be looking at the PlayStation 4 version of Hawken, which currently is very different from the older PC version, in case you don't know. I'm piloting the Berserker mech in a co-op team deathmatch game, which is my favorite game mode to play. We are on the Wreckage map, which is really good for close quarters combat, and although this isn't the greatest gameplay, I will get MVP with 10 kills and 7 assists, although I will die twice towards the end of the game. When you die, you can choose to respawn in a different mech that you own, but I deliberately choose to come back in the Berserker for the sake of the video. One of the things that I really like about co-op team deathmatch is that it's usually really fast and really easy, but this match is going to take a lot longer than usual, and we are actually going to come close to losing. But you can see that I only had 3 other human teammates, and the game gave us 2 bots to fill in, and according to the stats at the end, I scored more than twice as many points as the player that came in second, which was one of the bots, and I had 3 times as many points as the next best human player. So I have to assume that my teammates were all new to the game, which is totally cool. Like I said, I'm definitely not criticizing anybody. I'm just trying to point out that these games typically don't run out of time, which is what happens in this particular match. The Berserker, of course, is only one step away from the Recruit, so unless you're spending real money on the game, this is one of the first 2 mechs that you can purchase with in-game credits, and it will only cost you 5,000 blue credits. The Berserker has good stats for dodging and airspeed, moderate stats for ground speed and boost speed, and actually low-end stats on everything else when compared to the other mechs available at the moment. Armor and radar are especially low, but not the worst in the game. Of course, I'll say again that bad stats don't make the mech itself bad. I'm just telling you how the stats compare to those of the other mechs in the game available at launch. For weapons, the Berserker totes the Submachine cannon on the left-hand side as your primary weapon, and this is another great close quarters damage dealer. The range is really bad in relation to all of the game's other weapons, but DPS is really high, and it has the absolute best rate of fire at the moment. Your secondary weapon on your right hand side is the tow rocket, which is the same secondary that the Recruit mech has. So if you put any time into the CRT Recruit before moving on to the Berserker, then you should already be familiar with the tow rocket, which has a low rate of fire that has pretty good accuracy and heat management. When you press R2 to fire a tow missile, you can press R2 again while the missile is still in flight to manually detonate it if you wish. The range is only moderate, so I actually pilot the Berserker with almost the same strategy that I use when in the Recruit, which is to try and attack from mid-range distances using the tow rocket mostly, and then relying more on the left-hand weapon, in this case the submachine cannon, as I get closer to my enemies. I do play the Berserker a tad bit more defensively than the Recruit, just because the Recruit has a good amount more armor than this mech. But when things get tough, or when you just want a little extra punch, you can rely on your special ability by tapping the X button to increase your damage output for about 6 seconds, after which the ability enters a 51-second cooldown before you can use it again. For items, the Berserker comes equipped with the high explosives charge, which can be deployed by pressing the square button, which is basically a little bomb that you can spit out. This is the same item the Recruit uses for the triangle button. So once again, if you've been using the Recruit mech, then you're familiar with this item, but you'll have to remap your brain to triggering it with a different button. The Berserker's triangle button item is the repair charge, which basically just drops a yellow armor orb like the ones that enemies drop when you kill them. Of course, you go stand next to those orbs to refill your armor, which is your health, your HP, whatever you want to call it. It's called armor in this game. For passive abilities, this mech's internals are the air compressor, which lets you dodge while airborne, and the deflectors, which cause you to take less damage while you are dodging or boosting. And please do remember that Hawken is a free-to-play game, and certain updates may change things that I've said or things that you've seen in this video. Also realize, like I said, that at launch the console versions of Hawken are very different from the older PC versions. So if you're curious about the game, be careful what information you're looking at. As far as I understand, on the PC version, as you rank up a mech, you can swap out its primary weapon, and you can pick and choose which internals you want on different mechs. But in the console versions, at least of right now, none of those things seem to be options, even though some of the messages in game would suggest so. Sometimes you reach a certain pilot level and it tells you that you've unlocked a particular internal for use on all your mechs, but you didn't really, because the console versions don't let you do that right now. So it's one of those situations. But keep all that in mind, and all I can really say is that if you're playing this on PS4 or Xbox One, whatever, hope you're having as much fun with it as I am. Thanks a lot for watching the video.
Remaining. Mission success.